I had a confession to make.
Oh,
And honestly, I feel like this is a safe space, so I'm just going to put it all on the table right now.
okay. Let's hear it.
I treat my vitamin gummies like candy.
You are definitely not alone in that. I think most of us are guilty of it.
I mean, logically, I know I shouldn't. There's a recommended dose right there on the bottle. But when you pop that safety lid and the smell hits you, it's like strawberries and sunshine. It is just so hard to stop it, too.
Mm-hmm.
And the worst part is I justify it to myself. I'm standing there telling myself, hey, it's good for me. It's vitamins. It's practically a salad. But looking at the research we have today, that is a pretty dangerous assumption, isn't it?
It's a very common one, but dangerous might actually be the right word depending on what you're buying. And that's exactly why we're doing this deep dive.
Right. Because we got our hands on this fascinating document from Ingredientsage. It's the ultimate buyer's guide to vitamin gummies made from real fruit and vegetables. And I have to say, it completely shattered my illusion that all gummies are created equal.
It really peels back the curtain. Our mission today is to turn you from just a casual consumer, someone who grabs the prettiest bottle, into a gummy connoisseur.
A connoisseur, I like that.
We're going to unpack the chemistry, the sensory science, the regulatory loopholes, and really the money behind these little chews.
It turns out making a gummy isn't just, melting down gelatin and throwing in a vitamin. It is high-stakes food science. So let's start with the basics. When I eat a gummy, what am I actually eating?
Okay, so the source material breaks down what they call the gelification base. This is the foundation of the house, so to speak.
The gelification base, right?
Exactly. And according to the guide, there are really 3 distinct tiers you need to know about. This isn't just about ingredients. It's about the structural integrity of the product.
Tiers. So there's an actual hierarchy of gummy quality.
Precisely.
Yeah.
At the very top, you have Tier 1. This is the real fruit piece approach. These are manufacturers using actual chunks of fruit combined with a vegan gelling agent. The engineering challenge is massive because you're putting real organic matter into a product that needs to be shelf-stable.
So we're talking about bits of strawberry or
Actual chunks, yeah.
or blueberry that you can actually see and feel.
Yes, exactly. It gives you a totally different texture. Then you drop down to Tier 2. This is probably what you're used to seeing.
The stuff in the supermarket.
Right. It uses a fruit puree or a juice concentrate mixed with either gelatin or a vegan alternative. It's smooth, uniform, and much, much easier to mass produce.
That's the classic gummy bear texture. Bouncy, predictable, the kind that gets stuck in your teeth.
That's the one. And then Tier 3 is the hybrid. This is where they blend fruit and vegetable bases together.
Veggies.
Right. The guide says this is the most technically complex because you don't want a gritty gummy. But here's where it gets tricky for you as a consumer. We have to talk about the flavor trap.
A flavor trap. That sounds ominous.
Well, it's a distinction made by Dr. Elena Garcia, who's mentioned in the guide. She talks about fruit integrity. You see, there's a huge legal and chemical difference between a label that says made with real fruit and one that just says fruit flavored.
But I see natural fruit flavor everywhere. I just assume that means, well, that it has fruit in it.
It tastes like fruit, but that doesn't mean it is fruit. Made with real fruit implies actual fruit, biomass fiber, pieces, puree. It contributes to the nutrition.
Okay.
Fruit flavored often just means a base of water, sugar, and a chemical. A flavor pack designed to trick your brain into thinking strawberry.
That is so sneaky. You see the picture of the dewy strawberry on the bottle, your brain fills in the gaps, and you just assume you're getting the healthy stuff.
That's marketing doing its job. But what's interesting is the source points out that real fruit gummies drive better satisfaction scores in blind testing. A chemical strawberry flavor just falls flat compared to the real thing.
Okay, let's talk about that experience. Because nothing ruins my morning like a gummy that gets stuck in my molars for 3 hours. What's the actual science behind the bite?
This is where we get into the science of sensory. And here's a counterintuitive fact from the guy that really stood out to me. Real fruit gummies are actually harder to keep consistent.
Really? I would have thought natural ingredients would just be better. Why harder?
It's a concept called water activity. Real fruit holds water. Over time, that moisture migrates and interacts with the gelling agent. So a real fruit gummy might actually soften on your shelf. A concentrate-based gummy is more artificial, so it'll be chemically consistent for years, but the guide notes it often tastes flat.
So if my gummy changes a little bit from the beginning of the bottle to the end, that might actually be a good sign.
It could be a sign of active natural ingredients, yes. It means the product is alive, chemically speaking. And then you have the heavyweight battle, pectin versus gelatin.
Right. Break those down for us. Gelatin is the old school one.
Gelatin's the classic. It's animal-based pork or beef tissue. It gives you that resilient, elastic chew. It's very dependable because it melts at body temperature, which gives a great mouthfeel.
And pectin is the plant-based one.
Right, from citrus peels or apples. It's vegan, which is a huge market driver. But the source notes that pectin is chemically sensitive. It needs a very specific acid and sugar environment to set properly.
So it's finicky.
Extremely. If a manufacturer misses the mark, a pectin gummy can either harden like a rock or just turn into mush. It's high risk, high reward. When it's done right, it has a shorter bite. It breaks cleanly.
Speaking of signs of quality, let's talk looks. If I hold up a bottle and the colors aren't perfectly uniform, my instinct is to think, oh, this is a bad batch.
And you would be wrong.
Yeah.
The guide explicitly says color variance in real fruit gummies is a sign of quality.
No way.
It means they aren't just dyeing everything with red dye number 40. Nature isn't uniform. A strawberry from June looks different than one from August. If your gummies look like photocopies of each other, that's chemistry, not nature.
Wow, I need to completely retrain my brain on that. Uniformity is actually a red flag.
It should be. It's about resetting your expectations to what real food actually looks like.
Okay, so we've got the base, we've got the texture, but let's be real, I'm buying these for the vitamins, or at least that's a lie I tell myself. Are these things actually delivering?
This is the nutritional payload section of the guide. And honestly, there are some legitimate concerns here. We have to talk about the gummy matrix.
The gummy matrix? Sounds like a sci-fi sequel.
It does, doesn't it? But in food science, it refers to the physical structure holding the vitamins. The source talks about bioavailability. Just because a vitamin is in the gummy doesn't mean your body absorbs it.
Why not? If I eat it, my stomach does the rest?
Not necessarily. First, the gummy matrix might not break down in time to release the nutrients. But the bigger issue is cofactors. Take fat-soluble vitamins.
Right. Vitamin D, A, E, K. They need fat.
Exactly. They need dietary fat to be transported into your bloodstream. If your gummy is all sugar and pectin, and you eat it on an empty stomach, well, you might be flushing a lot of that vitamin D right out.
So I should be eating my gummy with, what, avocado toast?
Ideally, yes. Or just with a meal that has some fat. A handful of nuts, yogurt, anything. And then there's stability. Vitamins are fragile. Vitamin C oxidizes easily. A gummy is a moist environment.
So the gummy itself is kind of a hostile environment for the vitamin?
It can be. That's why manufacturers often overage. They put more vitamins in than the label says, assuming some will degrade. But the biggest issue the source flags is the claims. Boosts immunity. Instant energy.
I see those all the time. Hair, skin, and nails is the classic.
You have to be very careful. The source warns that brands often overstate these claims without regulatory support. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
Okay, the elephant in the room. Sugar. They taste like candy because they're full of sugar, right?
It's a massive trade-off. The guide calls it the sugar equation. Real fruit has sugar, and then they often add more for taste and preservation.
So what are my options? I see sugar-free everywhere now.
Well, you have classic organic cane sugar. Tastes great, but it's sugar. Then you have sugar alcohols, like xylitol or erythritol. They're cleaner on the label, maybe better for your teeth.
I hear a but.
But they have a different mouthfeel. A bit. Cooling. And for some people, they can cause significant digestive issues.
Right, the gummy bear clean-out stories. We've all read those reviews.
Exactly. It can be a laxative. And then there's stevia, 0 calorie, but it has that distinct, sometimes metallic aftertaste that can really clash with fruit flavors. The source calls it the flat taste risk.
It's a delicate balance. You want it healthy, but if it tastes awful, I'm not going to eat it, and then I get 0 vitamin.
Precisely. It's a formulation tightrope.
Okay, let's get practical. The source gave us 4 specific product profiles. I love this because we can comparison shop right here. Let's look at what you get for your money.
Let's do it. So we're in the aisle. First, we pick up Profile A.
Okay, Profile A, what am I looking at?
This is the fruit piece approach, pectin-based, so it's vegan. And it has those real fruit pieces suspended in the gel. Price comes in around 60 cents a serving.
60 cents. Mid-range.
It is. The takeaway is you're paying for that tangible fruit element. You're getting fiber. But remember, moisture control has to be precise.
Okay, so if I want to feel like I'm eating real food and want a vegan base, Profile A is a good bet. What about Profile B?
Profile B is the Juice and Gelatin Classic, the nostalgia pick. It uses gelatin, so not vegan. It's juice-based, so you get vibrant color, no fiber, And it's the cheapest, about 55 cents per serving.
So this is the budget-friendly, reliable chew?
Exactly. Broad appeal, consistent texture, but higher sugar, about 6 grams, and no animal-free claims. It's your standard drugstore gummy.
Got it. Now, what if I want to be a bit more adventurous? Sneak some veggies into my diet.
Then you're looking at Profile C, the premium veggie blend.
Veggies in a gummy. Does it taste like broccoli?
Hopefully not. They use complex masking flavors. But this one uses a dual gelling system, pectin, plus agar, which comes from seaweed. And it includes DHA.
DHA, the omega-3. Brain food.
Correct. But here's the kicker. It's low sugar, only 2 grams, but you pay for that. It's around 70 cents per serving.
So that's for the health-forward person who doesn't mind paying a premium.
And finally, Profile D, the lifestyle hybrid.
That sounds expensive.
It is 75 cents a serving. It uses real fruit plus algae-derived DHA. Vegan, clean label, sustainable.
Algae, DHA, so we're skipping the fish and going right to the source.
Exactly. Fish get their omega-3s from algae. This just skips the middle fish. It's plant-forward nutrition. But you're paying for that sustainability and sourcing.
So the difference is about 20 cents a serving, cheapest to most expensive. That really adds up over a year.
It does. And you have to ask yourself, do you value the algae and the real fruit enough to pay a 30% markup?
That is the question. But even if I pick the expensive one, how do I know the label isn't just lying? Is anyone actually checking this stuff?
This brings us to the regulatory landscape. And honestly, it's complicated.
I just assumed the FDA approves all this.
Not exactly. In the U.S., supplements are treated differently than drugs. The FDA oversees labeling, but they don't approve supplements before they hit the shelf.
So they can say whatever they want until they get caught.
Within reason. They can say supports immune health, but not cures the flu. If they claim to cure a disease, the FDA comes down hard. Europe is much, much stricter.
So how do I, the consumer, know I'm not buying snake oil?
You have to look for the trust anchor.
The trust anchor.
Third-party verification. Look for specific seals on the bottle, like USP, that's United States Pharmacopoeia, or NSF.
I've seen those stamps, usually tiny on the back. I never knew what they meant.
They're crucial. It means an independent lab tested that product. They verify 2 things. Potency is the amount of vitamin C on the label actually in the gummy. And purity, they check for heavy metals and contaminants.
That seems incredibly important, especially with fruit concentrates.
Absolutely. If you concentrate the fruit, you concentrate everything that was in the soil. A third-party seal is your best guarantee that the company's actually doing what they say they're doing.
So if it doesn't have the seal...
You're just trusting the manufacturer's word.
Yeah.
And that can be a gamble.
Okay, let's wrap this up. I'm standing in the aisle. It's overwhelming. What's my mental checklist?
You have to look at the price versus value equation. Don't just grab the cheapest one.
Right, because a low price might mean I'm just buying expensive sugar water.
Exactly. Or it might mean a total lack of safety testing. Conversely, a high price should justify itself. If it's 75 cents a serving, I want to see organic certifications that algae DHA, transparent sourcing.
So step 1, check the base.
Right. Is it fruit puree or is it water and sugar? Look at the first 3 ingredients.
Step 2, check the gelling.
Pectin for vegan or gelatin for that classic chew. Doesn't match your ethics.
And step 3, the proof.
Find that seal, NSF or USP. If you see that, you know you're getting what you paid for. If you don't, you need to ask if you really trust that brand.
It's amazing how much is hidden inside something that looks so simple.
It's a collision of chemistry, biology, and economics, all in a sugar coating.
So to summarize our journey, gummy vitamins aren't just candy, but they aren't exactly medicine either. They're complex food science. And you have to look past the pretty pictures.
The clean label movement is forcing manufacturers to be more honest, which is great. But it's still on you to read the fine print.
It always is, isn't it?
Always.
Well, this has definitely changed how I'm going to look at my morning routine. I think I'll still eat them, but with a lot more scrutiny.
And maybe with a meal.
And with a meal. Good call.
Here's a thought I want to leave you with. Next time you pop that gummy vitamin, ask yourself, are you paying for the nutrition? Or are you just paying for a really, really expensive fruit snack with a really good marketing team? Because if the bioavailability isn't there, that's essentially what you've bought.
That hits close to home. I'm going to be thinking about that next time I'm in the candy aisle. I mean, the vitamin aisle. Thanks for diving in with us today.
Happy to be here.
See you next time on The Deep Dive.